There's new allegations against Sean P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female.
That's not a flex. Bragging about Lucy and Grange hooking you up don't look so good right now, do it? That ain't aging all that well. Because everybody know that Lucian has been Diddy and Deshaun Carter. They sugar baby.
Gotti was entwined with Diddy. He's one of Diddy boys. He's big time in that ring with bad boys. Isn't it ironic that this month and next month they're gonna start releasing names? Who else was involved with Diddy?
Audio has surfaced as part of a lawsuit that accuses Christian Holmes, Sean Diddy Combs' son, of sexual assault. The music mogul is not accused of sexual assault in the lawsuit, but is included over allegations of liability and aiding and abetting. The lawsuit cites audio from a makeshift recording studio on the yacht where the alleged assault happened.
Courtroom chaos in this case goes far beyond legal strategies. It's a cultural flashpoint where power, celebrity, and accountability collide, turning the entire ordeal into a gripping public spectacle. With every new revelation, leaked conversation, or unexpected twist, the world watches with relentless scrutiny, dissecting every detail under an unyielding public microscope. The stakes are immense, not just for Diddy's reputation, but for the broader entertainment industry. This trial isn't just about one man's fate. It's a potential turning point that could reshape Hollywood's power structure, redefining what it truly means to be influential and accountable in an era where no one is above public scrutiny.
I love Puff.
Yeah.
He can do drugs.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. He done hit me with a Jeffrey one time. That Jeffrey.
You have to take a hit of this Jeffrey. It'll calm you down.
Yeah, I smoked with Puff. I was like,
So soft.
we were seeing things.
I just got a business idea. Chocolate eggplant.
And I swear to God, I was like, you don't think this nigga hit us with Jeffrey?
I swear to God.
It's all good, Puff. You can hit me with the Jeffrey.
I spent the evening with him. I was with him until about 1 o'clock. His spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on, the way he's dealt with every challenge in his life. And he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges. We know what the charges are going to be without seeing the indictment. It's going to be racketeering. It's going to be trafficking. It's going to be things along those lines. This is what we've been expecting since the searches in March. He, to his great credit, he voluntarily came to New York. Not a lot of defendants do that. He came to New York to basically engage the court system and start the case, and it'll start to...
Irv Gotti's testimony was one of the most awaited moments in this case. As a major player in the music industry with deep connections to some of the biggest names, including Diddy, his words carried serious weight. When he took the stand, Gotti didn't hold back. He shared key insights that could play a pivotal role in shaping the outcome, details that might have a major impact on Diddy's defense. What he revealed could change everything.
Hov is Hov. Don't get it. Hov don't need nobody. Once Hov got on, he was a guy I would be like, he didn't need nobody. Like X needed people around him to help him. Ja needed me to help him. Hov, once he got on, he didn't need nobody. He could do it all himself. He'll pick the beats, fuck with the producer. He didn't need no.
There's ways to manipulate numbers in hip hop or in music, period, and they know how to do
numbers.
it.
It's all
no, but they know how to manipulate it. Meaning, they know how to buy records. They know how to do things like that to get your numbers up high. And they did it with fucking Music Soul Child. They'll never sit there and say it, but the facts is the facts. So it's all good.
You know, everybody's forgetting how he sat there and slut shamed the shit out of Ashanti.
He did.
And then talked about that music and then bragged about how he sold all of their publishing rights to that weirdo vampire, Lucian Grange. And he said there, I don't have to worry about BET because, see, I know people like Lucian Grange. So did Diddy. He f***ed Diddy. Did he f*** you too? Like, whoa. It's just...
Man. Straight off the back like that. Yeah. Throwing around some big names there. Whoa. Jaguar right. These are not my words. I am not telling you the story.
The music industry was forever changed by the presence of Irv Gotti, whose birth name was Irving Lorenzo. He endured a difficult childhood after being born in Hollis, Queens. In spite of everything, he became a hip-hop enthusiast, learned to DJ, and started making beats.
Rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it.
But that line, die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it. Living the American dream with a vengeance. I'm gonna get it. I don't give I'm gonna get it.
And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You got to also look at that. You have to look at that. You got to look at the environments and places we live in and how things are set up and how things are structured and how we're always at a totem pole, even from our schools, our roads to...
I know that he's into saving the youth as well, and I've seen him with his children playing board games and enjoying himself and just enjoying life. And he's one of us. He went up against the federal government and he beat them. He's one of them that could say he beat them, and it ain't a handful that could say that they beat the federal government.
Irv Gotti, the legendary music executive and co-founder of Murder Inc. Records, has tragically passed away on February 5th, 2025, at just 54 years old. His family confirmed the heartbreaking news on social media, sending shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Fans, friends, and artists who admired his contributions to the industry are mourning this profound loss. Though an official cause has yet to be revealed, reports suggest that Gotti had been battling heart-related complications and had suffered multiple strokes in recent years. His health struggles had been a growing concern, making this news even more devastating for those who knew and loved him.
Gotti, a huge music producer, died at the age of 54 this week. He worked with some of the biggest people in the music industry like DMX, Ja Rule, Ashanti. He, I guess, passed away on Wednesday in New York City. It's at this time, while I'm recording, not really sure how he died. We do know that he had a lot of medical issues that he suffered with over the years, had a lot of health problems. He suffered a stroke last year. He was walking with the aid of a cane. He had been very open with his struggles with diabetes. He wasn't consistent with taking his insulin. He admitted to that. And that, his doctors had encouraged him to change his diet, which he also struggled to do. So we'll see if that played a factor in his death. But a lot of people obviously speaking out about it. He also worked with Jay-Z on his debut album. I mean, just a really big deal in the music industry. You probably know his name. Vanessa Carlton worked with him to produce her big album back in 2007, Heroes and Thieves. So everyone kind of knew who he was. He had left a lasting impression on the music industry, but he passed away at...
Tributes pouring in today for a hip-hop pioneer. Irv Gotti, the founder of Murder Inc. Records, has died. He's just 54 years old.
Gotti, whose real name is Irving Lorenzo, founded the label with his brother in the late 1990s. Over the years, he worked with top artists and helped launch the careers of many, including Ja Rule and Ashanti. His family says he died yesterday, surrounded by family and friends.
New this morning, Irv Gotti, a Queens native and founder of Murder Records, has died. The mogul's real name, Irving Lorenzo Jr. His cause of death has not been released, but the music mogul did suffer a stroke last year and had long battled diabetes. Related issues, Irv Gotti was a noted record executive, music producer, and entrepreneur. He rose to fame in the late 90s and early 2000s while working with artists including Ja Rule, Ashanti, and DMX. Irv Gotti was 54.
Gotti has been outspoken about the urgent need to shield young artists from the traps of streaming exploitation. Teaming up with industry heavyweights like Suge Knight, Jay Prince, and Dame Dash, he has been a strong advocate for change, pushing for the establishment of an artist union. Their mission? To secure fair pay and improved working conditions for musicians navigating the ever-evolving digital landscape. In an industry where artists often get the short end of the stick, this movement aims to level the playing field, ensuring that creativity and hard work are properly rewarded.
Suge Knight was trying to meet up with Dame Dash, Irv Gotti, Jay Prince. They was trying to get a distribution company.
It wasn't a distribution.
It was a union. Honestly, it was all Suge's idea.
It was all his plan, and it was a hell of a plan, man. He was like, yo, we get all the artists together. And he wasn't just talking about hip-hop, every artist in general. And he was like, okay, say you got $1 million budget.
So instead of $1 million, you'd have $1.1 million with $100,000 going to the union.
Now this will all get recouped back to the artist. It'll go towards an annuity. It'll go towards a retirement fund.
And it was easy metrics because instead of you recouping $1 million, you recoup $1.1 million.
Someone left that meeting talking about our move. Unfortunately, the feds hit all of us at the same time, which I don't think was a coincidence.
Jay went and told. He went and told. He blew the spot up. Feds came in and started hitting niggas with cases because they all said, yo, we gonna put our money together. Now think about it now, how everybody get robbed off the streaming.
So I was watching A&E, and it was Gangster Week. And lo and behold, today's episode is on Albert Anastasia and the notorious Murder Incorporated. Murder Inc. came across the TV, riddled with bullets. I start screaming, that's it. I'm going crazy in my house. Like, just imagine me by myself in my boxers and a t-shirt. That's it. Because at the time, the two biggest labels was Death Row and Bad Boy. So Death Row had, the Death Row, and they used to call their artists Death Row Inmate.
Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Diddy, recently dropped a bombshell, claiming that Diddy tipped off authorities about a major move by Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince. According to Deal, these industry heavyweights were planning to launch a music distribution company and maybe even a union. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the music world, sparking intense debate and speculation. Could this be the reason certain power players in hip-hop faced so many obstacles? And if true, what does this say about the industry's behind-the-scenes power struggles? Let's break it all down.
Well, I actually thought it was either a distribution or some kind of publishing company. But I heard Irv Gotti speak on this. But way back then, I was told it was a distribution of some kind of publishing company that he was doing. But I guess Irv would know more than I knew. But they were talking about Suge Knight was trying to form a union. That's what he was saying. But back in the day, people thought it was a distribution where blacks would distribute their own music through, distribute their own music and stuff like that. So that's what we thought it was back then. But it was truth behind the fact that it was Jay-Z and Puff that went to those folks and let them know what Suge Knight was trying to do. And so that's how all those other labels got raided. What you call that? Rap-A-Lot, Rockefeller got on the list. And Rockefeller got on the list because of the fact that Dame and Jaden was breaking up anyway.
These are still just allegations. Nothing has been confirmed by Diddy or any of the individuals involved. However, the situation has undeniably stirred up even more drama, adding another layer of controversy to the already complicated dynamics within the hip-hop world.
Got out and they got back, and the feds got on it because that's what those people are going to do. Those people are not going to give up their stuff like that, man. They've been holding rap hostage for years. Rap has been controlled by the, you're not going to say this? And you gonna beat this out? but it's been the record labels that were.
The speculation surrounding Diddy's potential involvement in the tragic passing of Irv Gotti has sent shockwaves through the industry, fueling heated debates among insiders. Many point to Gotti's outspoken nature and his relentless criticism of Diddy's alleged questionable business dealings as the source of their long-standing tension. Known for his unfiltered opinions, Gotti never hesitated to call out industry giants, frequently using interviews and social media as his platform to voice his frustrations. One of his most talked-about interviews saw him directly taking aim at Diddy, accusing him of manipulating artists and orchestrating unethical business moves that put profits over people. Now, in 2025, these tensions have resurfaced in ways no one could have predicted.
2025, Irv Gotti have several strokes and his family going to the hospital to say goodbye. It's not adding up to me. It seems like everybody that come around Diddy dies. Now Diddy in jail. So Diddy didn't do this. So who out here working with Diddy? Who else got something to lose? Maybe Oprah, Tyler Perry, Jay-Z, Clyde Davis, Lucian Granger, Usher.
Did he not? I know he has the money. Why is everybody that don't need Ozempic actually have it and the people that actually need Ozempic are not getting it? Is there some type of situation? Also, do you had money access for private chefs, private cooks? And somebody you don't even need to do. You could hire somebody full-time to go around with you and give you the insulin when you needed it. Moreover, there are a lot of studies, not even studies, proof, overseas and even in America, I think even Harvard University Medical School acknowledged that type 2 diabetes can now be cured with diet and exercise. Now, I don't know if he was so far gone that it couldn't help, but he was definitely in the situation that his money could afford to make sure he lived the healthiest lifestyle.
The well-known attorney who was representing Combs in the case of Diddy, Mark Agnifilo, decided to step away from it in light of the strong accusations leveled by Gotti. Notable for his vast background in contentious cases, Agnifilo had played a pivotal role in Diddy's defense, with Keith Raniere of Nox.FM being his most notable client. The proposal of a plea bargain was strongly rejected by him and Diddy. They insisted that Diddy was innocent and would fight the charges in court, even though they were under heavy media scrutiny and faced multiple allegations of trafficking and racketeering.
The legal team requests that Diddy be transferred to a different jail in New Jersey. And the point person behind that request and Diddy's team is defense attorney Mark Agnifilo. If that name is familiar to you, it may be because you've heard it before. He's repped several high-profile defendants, like the NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere and Roger Ng, a former Goldman Sachs banker convicted of bribery and money laundering. We'll get to those cases in a second, but first, a bit about Agnifilo's history. He received a bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986. In 1990, he received his Juris degree from Brooklyn Law School, and while there, even received the American Jurisprudence Award for Outstanding Performance in Trial Advocacy.
Among the charges are alarming claims, such as that of a lady who claimed Diddy misconducted her in February 2004, when she was a 19-year-old college student. A disturbing case also revolves on a 10-year-old boy who asserts that he was coerced into engaging in indecent behavior while under the influence of alcohol. Based on what Busby has said, these rumors depict a dark picture of the party culture that supposedly Diddy encouraged.
Rachel Kennedy claims the footage was playing on a continuous loop in Diddy's Tokyo hotel room during the 2000 interaction, and further alleged that the rapper was on the phone with J-Lo, whom he was dating at the time. Rachel said on the Daily Mail's The Trial of Diddy podcast that she found the entire situation quite odd and further described it as creepy and disrespectful. Rachel and her two friends had been invited to Diddy's room for a party after meeting him at a topless club in Japan. She and her friends were expecting to just attend a party, but Diddy was alone in his room when they arrived. She claims they then engaged in a consensual encounter. Jennifer Lopez has yet to comment on Diddy's legal trouble.
You freeze. You're in shock. I mean, children aren't supposed to handle that sort of stuff. I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh, yeah. I was surrounded by them.
The sheer scale of the allegations against Diddy has left his legal team scurrying to confront what they see as a reckless media circus. However, the figures hint to a broader pattern of alleged misconduct, a story that Busby has effectively presented in prior high-profile instances, such as those involving American football star Deshaun Watson and the Boy Scouts of America.
We intend to name people in these lawsuits. We're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits, and it may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names. And you might imagine in situations like this, that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public. And, when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise some eyebrows.
By now you may have heard the news that Jay-Z has been named in a recent Diddy lawsuit from Tony Busby. In that lawsuit, it's accusing Jay-Z of being one of the male celebrities that arred a 13-year-old girl. Well, Jay-Z responded, and we did a separate video talking about that, so check out that video. Well, now Tony Busby is responding and basically saying that Jay-Z was the high-profile celebrity that was recently suing him. So Tony Busby says this in a statement regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed this frivolous case using a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. What would be the result of that mediation? Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As far as allegations in the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media.
Tony Busby, known for his aggressive legal techniques, has been at the forefront of this issue, claiming that the possible number of civil legal cases against Diddy might exceed 300. His team has apparently received over 3,000 calls since his October news appearance. After considerable vetting, Busby feels that roughly 100 to 150 cases may feasibly be pursued. These allegations, spanning over 20 years, involve both men and women with charges of terrible crimes such as misbehavior, intoxicating, and trafficking.
Where, first we have Tony Busby, who was sued for extortion. Then we have Busby suing back, also claiming harassment. And then we figure out that Jay-Z is somehow involved in all of this in a way, allegedly. What do you make of that?
Well, this is really taking quite a turn. So what you have here now are 3 additional parties in what was really a prosecution of Sean Combs and a bunch of civil cases against Sean Combs. So now you add to that Tony Busby, who's a very prominent lawyer. He's been down this road before. He was down this road with Deshaun Watson, so he's used to this kind of case, and by all appearances, he's good at it.
Yeah, Rashi, attorney Tony Busby says he's been contacted by 3,285 people who say they are victims of Sean Combs. And after some vetting, Busby says he now represents 120 of those people who will file civil lawsuits against P. Diddy. And that number includes 60 men and 60 women, and also include 25 children. Now, I will tell you, some of these accusations are pretty disturbing.
There's new allegations against Sean P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female, adults and children. whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their claims involve drug-fueled assaults similar to what the feds described in their criminal indictment of the music mogul. Diddy's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on trafficking.
You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now.
The legal team is working tirelessly to combat significant allegations that carry a potential life sentence. They are defending themselves against the seriousness of the accusations after entering 2 not guilty pleas. Prominent lawyer Mark Agnifilo, who is known for taking on challenging cases, is leading his defense.
These lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman, and an ongoing tragedy.
How's your dad doing? How's your dad doing?
Family members appeared somber as they arrived at federal court in Manhattan today in another attempt to get out on bail.
In your opinion, did Diddy's attorney leave the courtroom following Irv Gotti's testimony? Post your ideas and opinions in the space provided below. The world of fame, power, and controversy has always had a way of drawing people in. It's like watching a real-life thriller unfold. And right now, hip-hop legend Sean Diddy Combs finds himself at the center of a story that feels ripped straight from a Hollywood crime drama. From serious criminal allegations to wiretaps, leaked audio, and high-stakes courtroom showdowns, the unfolding events paint a picture that's as shocking as it is captivating.
This is the latest in a series of lawsuits filed against the rap mogul and businessman. Both men, father and son, deny the allegations against them. CNN national correspondent Camila Bernal joining me live with details on this. Camila, what more are you learning?
Hey, Fred. So in this audio that CNN has listened to, you can specifically hear the accuser who alleges that she was being forced to take this tequila shot that she believed was laced with drugs.
The courtroom drama surrounding Diddy has just taken a dramatic turn, and tensions have never been higher. With shocking new audio leaks making waves, one question is on everyone's mind. Has Diddy finally reached his breaking point? Sources indicate that the 55-year-old rapper experienced a meltdown while incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, where he was taken for observation due to mental instability. The music mogul, arrested in September on charges including racketeering conspiracy and trafficking, was reportedly hoping to secure bail by now. Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him, an insider told The Sun, noting that Combs managed to regain composure through meditation and deep breathing, although it took several hours to calm himself. Contrastingly, another source dismissed the meltdown claim, emphasizing that the father of 7 has remained resilient amidst serious allegations. A legal expert highlighted the significant disparity between Combs' previous lavish lifestyle and his current circumstances, stating the stark contrast. On the morning of September 16, 2024, the music world was shaken as Sean Diddy Combs, one of the industry's most influential figures, found himself at the center of a major scandal. Authorities took him into custody on serious charges, sending shockwaves through fans and the entertainment industry alike.
The U.S. Justice Department unsealed charges against Combs on Tuesday that alleged he abused
threatened and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors said that Combs, that's P. Diddy, that's his real name, carried out his scheme by relying on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors say that in times relevant to the indictment, Combs engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. The abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual.
The allegations were nothing short of shocking: racketeering, sexual abuse, and sex trafficking. These accusations exposed a disturbing web of power and control lurking behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry. What seemed like a world of fame and fortune had a much darker underbelly, where influence was allegedly used not to inspire, but to manipulate and exploit.
Also, I think we all saw those headlines back in November 2023 of Cassie Ventura filing her lawsuit against P. Diddy. That's what got all of this steamrolling. And I've been following the case since then. And obviously we've seen in recent months, there have been so many lawsuits against Diddy accusing him of drugging, and more than 40 of those. And a lot of them do date back to the 90s. So I've been looking into that area of his career in particular, trying to find out more about the makings of P. Diddy, or Puff Daddy, as he was known back then, and trying to find out from people who used to work with him and people in his inner circle, were there potentially early warning signs about some of the allegations that we're seeing now? And as I mentioned, some of these allegations of drugging and assault do go right back to the start of his career in the 1990s.
The case itself is gripping, but what's even more fascinating is how new details keep emerging bit by bit, fueling not just curiosity, but a growing sense of mystery and suspicion.
We told you from the jump that baby oil was a big thing in the whole Diddy scandal, that the Fed seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
And it is the thing that people have talked so much about because it was such a bizarre...
It's so odd. And remember, we spoke with Mark Agnifilo, his lawyer, on one of our documentaries, The Downfall of Diddy, on Tubi. And we asked him about it, and he didn't quite know what to say about it. He
kind of made a joke about it.
He kind of made a joke about it.
Right.
But now we know at least what one of the accusers in a civil lawsuit,
a brand new accuser,
a brand new one, is saying the purpose of the baby oil, and it's not what we thought.
No, this accuser, who is filed as a John Doe, says that the baby oil was laced.
This newly leaked audio has taken the internet by storm, sparking intense discussions and heated debates across social media. Although its authenticity hasn't been officially confirmed, many believe the voices captured in the clip include not just Diddy, but also other major celebrities like Meek Mill and Beyoncé. As conversations swirl about the shocking allegations tied to the rapper, this recording has only added fuel to the fire.
Beyoncé's audio leak admits participation in Diddy's parties. Are these signs she was involved all along? Recently, an audio recording of Beyoncé was accidentally leaked, revealing that she not only admitted to frequently attending Diddy's parties, but also claimed that those who were harmed weren't entirely innocent. She stated that everyone who attended the parties did so voluntarily, insisting that no one was forced. She even suggested that any harm they suffered was ultimately their own doing.
The fact that the recording has been leaked at such a critical point in his trial preparations is just as surprising as the substance, which captivates listeners and raises questions.
Now, the emergency hospital visit came just hours after federal prosecutors slapped him with a superseding indictment in his federal sex trafficking RICO case, adding 2 more victims and extending the time period for investigators from 2008 going back to 2004, meaning they have 4 more years in order to continue investigating possible additional allegations. Now, all of this taking place, as it seems every week there's another docuseries or documentary being cranked out about Diddy, which criminal defense attorneys who try cases in the Southern District here at the federal courthouse tell me can possibly taint potential juries that are going to hear this case when it gets going in May. Now, he will be back in the criminal case here in this courthouse in about 2 weeks.
Has the most recent audio leak finally broken the mysterious persona of the most powerful entrepreneur in hip-hop?
Diddy leaves the Metropolitan Detention Center jail in Brooklyn. New reports say he was taken to the hospital for a few hours last week to get an MRI. We're just now learning about this, though, because Diddy was taken from the jail late at night, actually using the cover of darkness to keep his trip on the down low.
In a true crime story that has captured the public's attention, Sean Diddy Combs is now entangled in a case that goes against all odds and threatens the foundations of celebrity power.
The lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs continues to stack up, and it should be no surprise at all who the latest batch is coming from. That, of course, being Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee. Now, Buzbee made his mission clear back in October that his firm plans to file more than 100 lawsuits against the disgraced mogul. But now he's in a rush to meet a March 1st deadline. Why? Because that's the last day the law in New York allows victims of past sexual assault file civil lawsuits despite the statute of limitations being up. So let's break down the latest allegations. Now, we have to mention these accusers did not use their real names in the court filings. Instead, they are referred to as Jane or John Doe. In John Doe's complaint, he alleges he was drugged and sexually assaulted at an after party in Los Angeles in 2015.
With every new revelation, the mystery behind Diddy's legal fights and his supposedly untouchable legacy is being further unraveled, creating a courtroom turmoil that is reminiscent of a Hollywood film.
Continue our attention to a major headline taking place in New York City and the pretrial hearing continuing on in this Sean Diddy Combs case. A pretrial hearing taking place some 138 days before trial. Let's be joined right now here on the ground in New York by Fox 5's Lisa Evers. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What can you tell us about what took place inside that courtroom today?
Well, Andy, everything so far is going very smoothly, but you can be sure that's going to change in the months ahead as they get close to that May trial date. But Sean Diddy Combs got a break today from the dismal lockdown atmosphere of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn by appearing here in federal court for this pretrial hearing.
Despite the lack of a conviction, Diddy's composure appears to be deteriorating due to the weight of multiple charges, some of which date back 20 years. As indicated by the intense nature of the proceedings.
So Sean Combs' legal team has just raised, I would say, a new issue, sort of new issue to the court, and we're going to address it right now. And it concerns, of all things, believe it or not, access to a laptop while he's in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, where he's currently locked up while he's waiting trial next year. And before I even go into the defense's letter, I said it was new, but really, this is an issue that has come up before. You see, Sean Combs' defense lawyers, they have argued that the conditions at the MDC make it incredibly difficult for him to properly review evidence in the case and prepare for trial. And yes, he has a constitutional right to prepare for his trial. But they have been arguing for quite some time that because of the incredible amount of material in this case, you really can't do it without a laptop. He needs a laptop to review everything. I mean, this is a massive case.
According to legal experts, emotional outbursts can occur during high-profile court cases due to the intense drama, which changes how the public views the case and makes the procedures even more unpredictable. At least 3 women have been accused of trafficking and exploitation in the most recent indictment, which now includes 3 charges, has a significant impact on his professional life.
Other artists and executives at the label would request for women across the states to be flown into the studio for sex.
And it wasn't uncommon to fly women in from around the country. Well, not around the country, but they could be like a 2 or 3 hour flight away type of thing. To have sex with people in the studio.
Prosecutors believe that through his empire, including his famed record label, Bad Boy Entertainment, that Diddy arranged what have been dubbed freak-offs, taped sexual encounters involving the exploitation of women, frequently with the participation of male sex workers. Defendant Sean Combs, a prominent entertainment mogul, exploited his power to sexually, physically, and psychologically abuse plaintiff over more than 5 harrowing years. Combs caused plaintiff's life to spiral into a living Hohenthau nightmare. Allegations further claim that Diddy deployed a combination of illicit narcotics, ranging from an ecstasy to methamphetamine and hallucinogenic mushrooms, to influence and control his victims, offering them promises of job development and financial support.
The first piece that we almost always see in pink or pink cocaine is ketamine, a dissociative drug, something that makes people feel like they're detached from reality. The second component is a psychedelic.
Bill Bodner is a former DEA agent. He adds, despite its name, oftentimes there is no cocaine in the hazardous cocktail of drugs, which includes synthetics like ecstasy, guaiacart methamphetamine, and benzodiazepines. Danderkolpai, the medicine also known as TUSI, operates as both a stimulant and a depressive.
Very, very cheap to make, and they can kind of tailor the drug to what the drug user is looking for, the perceived effects that the drug user is looking for.
The stark contrast between Diddy's once untouchable public image and the severity of these allegations has ignited a media storm. Every new twist and turn is not just a legal update, it's become a full-blown spectacle, where the boundaries between justice and sensationalism are becoming increasingly blurred. Once the embodiment of effortless confidence, Diddy now seems visibly shaken. The cool, composed persona he cultivated for decades is showing cracks, replaced by a man grappling with the gravity of the accusations. His responses, once calculated and poised, now carry a noticeable emotional weight as he confronts the storm surrounding him.
Well, I'll tell you that yesterday in court, Sean Diddy Combs showed up smiling. His whole, well, not his whole family, his children, all of his children and his mother who traveled from Florida were there. Oftentimes he would turn around and look at them at the end of the hearing. He was blowing kisses at them and saying thank you. He was comforted by his attorneys. It was odd to see him smile so much. It seemed like he was optimistic, and many of us were wondering whether he would be bailed out, but there is still a bail appeal pending in his case after a judge had rejected a $50 million bail package.
Some legal sources say that this emotional disintegration may be a deliberate effort by Diddy's defense to generate public sympathy. Or perhaps it is a true reflection of the terrible personal toll these allegations have exacted.
I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible.
And he was 19 when he got that job, and he rose to this really senior role as talent director. So that's where he got his start. And Jimmy was basically describing to me how Sean Combs had a bit of a temper. You know, he used the language that Sean Combs acted like a bratty kid in the office. You know, if he didn't get his way, he would bang his hands on the table. You know, he would start yelling like this kind of immature, naive 19-year-old.
Diddy is currently being held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and his future now depends on the outcome of his next trial, which is set for May 5th in Manhattan Federal Court and is expected to be a turning point in the ongoing discussion over accountability in the entertainment sector.
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, has remained steadfast in his defense, claiming that his client is totally dedicated to denying the accusations and that the evidence so far is a glaring misrepresentation the cross of mutually agreeable exchanges.
I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial and I'm going to be pushing for that. He's ready. He's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process.
The courtroom setting, however, still reflects the tension of a high-stakes drama as the trial date approaches, with every hushed exchange and covert gaze serving as media fodder and a spark for public discussion.
Sean Combs' son Christian, known professionally as King Combs, held his grandmother's hand as they left the courthouse with his other siblings.
We want to hear from you. Anything you want to say at this point.
Judge Arun Subramanian acknowledged that his mother Janice Combs came from Florida for her son and that his kids also traveled to be in the same courtroom with him. Combs' attorney Anthony Rico sat by his side throughout the proceeding. He's handling the appeal of his bail denial, which is a separate case in the appeals court.
He's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences.
Courtroom chaos in this case goes far beyond legal strategies. It's a cultural flashpoint where power, celebrity, and accountability collide, turning the entire ordeal into a gripping public spectacle. With every new revelation, leaked conversation, or unexpected twist, the world watches with relentless scrutiny, dissecting every detail under an unyielding public microscope. The stakes are immense, not just for Diddy's reputation, but for the broader entertainment industry. This trial isn't just about one man's fate. It's a potential turning point that could reshape Hollywood's power structure, redefining what it truly means to be influential and accountable in an era where no one is above public scrutiny. Diddy is in full panic mode after shocking reports revealed that Usher might take the stand against him in the highly anticipated trial this May. With the court date fast approaching, Diddy's legal team is scrambling, now pushing to have all evidence from the mansion raids thrown out in a last-ditch effort to protect him.
Sean Diddy Combs looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege.
Usher and Diddy have shared a connection spanning over 30 years. Rumors suggest that Diddy began influencing Usher from a young age, ever since Usher moved in with him as a kid. Usher's mother enrolled him in Puffy's Flavor Camp, trusting Diddy to shape his career and turn him into a star. Najari, Usher himself, has admitted that Diddy introduced him to a world far beyond his years, exposing him to adult experiences, exclusive parties, and nightclubs. It's been alleged that Diddy subjected Usher to things he was too young to comprehend at the time.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Uh-huh.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you're gonna put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there, you got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight, we would tussle.
Diddy allegedly cultivated Usher and guided him toward being as repulsive as him. In addition to the herpes lawsuit that Usher lost, Orlando Brown claims that he had sex with Usher. Usher was sued in February 2018 for infecting 2 women and 1 male with herpes. Usher ultimately paid $1,100,000 to have the matter dropped.
Well, some documents have leaked about Usher. They were obtained by Radar Online, and apparently back in 2009 or 2010, he had contracted herpes and passed it on to a celebrity stylist having unprotected sex with her. He had to pay $1.1 million to that woman for severe emotional distress, and he also covered her medical bills. That case was settled back in 2012. Now, allegedly, there was a greenish discharge from his penis.
Whoa, that's a booger. You can get penis boogers? I didn't know that.
He said he went to the doctor. He was cleared of any STDs, so the woman went on and continued. Now, if I notice a greenish discharge oozing out of your penis.
Exactly. This ain't Nickelodeon.
I don't know that I would
That ain't
continue.
slime.
What you gonna say,
I know
Charmaine?
all these kids playing with slime nowadays, but no.
I don't care who you are,
Ain't nothing,
okay?
Nothing green supposed to be coming out your penis.
Nah, not at all.
That's not how this works.
Nope.
Yellow comes out my penis and white. That's it.
Did Diddy infect Usher with herpes, or did Diddy force Usher to adopt this lifestyle? Video of Usher at one of Diddy's crazy parties has surfaced, showing him surrounded by drugs and hookers. Diddy even admits to the partygoers that he intends to have sex with Usher, and Usher is clearly uncomfortable. What's going on in Hollywood?
Love. We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you see Busta in the airport too. That motherfucker tried to act like he didn't know you. You smashed Drake?
No, I never smashed.
Oh, you made love to Drake.
And Cat Williams. What's his name?
Bro, you smashing a lot of people.
What's that name? Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Usher. Usher's a gusher.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed, at all. Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like just how. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early.
After he met Diddy, Usher's career took off. Usher eventually came to the realization that he needed to return Diddy's favors if he wished to continue getting them. Usher made the decision to assist Diddy in obtaining Justin Bieber at that time, since he was attempting to obtain the singer himself. Usher offered Diddy full access to Justin Bieber immediately after he fought with Justin Timberlake to sign Justin.
I ain't mean to stop you like that, but this is only a tease. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Island Def Jam recording artist Justin Bieber. It's getting ready to go down. Just so you know, we're in the studio right now working on it. Get ready because it's gonna be big. Ain't that right, Justin? That's right. That's right. So look out. We're coming.
I was flown out to Atlanta by a manager.
His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Yeah, rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one? And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again, and he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
According to Justin's court testimony, his life was negatively impacted by meeting Usher.
You get career. Do you know Raymond Usher the Fourth? No. Do you know an individual, an entertainer by the name of Usher?
Yeah, Usher. That sounds familiar.
Isn't it true that Usher was instrumental in starting your career?
What does that have to do with this litigation, Mr. DeKalb? This is just you trying to harass the client.
Before we came back here, you had asked me.
She's going to let her read back the question. Thank you for your memory.
Is it true that Usher was very instrumental in starting? That was the last question. I was found on YouTube. I think that I was detrimental to my own career.
Just listen to how Usher talks about Justin. Justin's intimate photos were leaked when he was young, and Usher discussed his private parts.
Time you met Justin Bieber, this kid comes up to you. He's not Justin Bieber yet, he's just some kid. And he says, I want to sing for you.
It was at the studio of Jermaine Dupri's. I said, why don't you set up a meeting between me and your manager? I'd love to meet with you and do this in a formal setting. I'm late for an appointment with Jermaine Dupri,
right?
And I don't want to keep him waiting. Let's just do this the right way.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room
somewhere. We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
When all these pics come out and all this stuff of Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people come to those concerts? Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of managing he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher,
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man. Come on.
The abuse that Usher permitted to happen to Justin is the reason they are no longer friends. Or Justin, a kid, was abused on live TV in Hollywood, a deplorable environment. Usher had the opportunity to protect Justin, but chose to pursue fame instead. Justin expresses ongoing shame about what happened to him.
I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. All right.
To be honest, Usher forbade this out of worries for Justin's career. That never was the true motivation. Both Usher and Diddy have always looked out for themselves. For them, managing rising talents is simply business. The main concern, though, is why did Usher assign Denty legal guardianship of Justin Bieber? And why has Justin stayed so mute about what actually happened over those enigmatic 48 hours?
He had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there.
Justin has been pulling away from both Diddy and Usher, making it clear that he wants to cut ties. Recently, he even went as far as unfollowing Usher on social media. Back in 2023, Justin made an even bigger statement by refusing to perform with Usher at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl halftime show is one of the most prestigious stages an artist can ever grace. So for Justin to turn down such a massive opportunity just to avoid being associated with Usher speaks volumes.
It might have been the fact that he was just, wanting to tell a different story right now, and I understand that. But we did have a brief conversation, and we're gonna do something else in the future. But there's no love lost or anything like that. I think that it's a lot of pressure for the Super Bowl, obviously, for me to put together a show. So I reached out to everybody. Justin wasn't the only person that I actually spoke to about doing the Super Bowl. But the moment was maybe for later.
Justin Bieber is continuing the purge. He has now moved to unfollow Usher, okay, his original mentor. So this is a very big story. And the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. Something happened in the background and people started noticing some things last year. In 2024, you guys will remember that Usher was tapped to perform at the Super Bowl. And people therefore assumed, because usually when you are tapped to perform the Super Bowl, you bring in all your hits, you call up all your homies, there's all of these guest surprises of people jumping on stage, and it's a trip down memory lane. So everyone was really hyped and assuming that Justin Bieber would be on the stage with him, especially because Justin Bieber went to this Super Bowl. So the signs were there. But then news began breaking that actually, no, Justin Bieber had snubbed him, that he had turned down Usher. People were wondering if this was true or just, usual rumor mill in the media. But then Usher confirmed it on The Breakfast Club. Kind of seemed like he was trying to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal, that here I am the mentor and he turned me down. Here is what Usher said explaining that on The Breakfast Club.
But Usher says we shouldn't count Justin out as a future halftime headliner.
He's going to play the Super Bowl. I'll go ahead and give you that in the future. I profess that over his life and over his time, because he has a career that deserves it. But it just didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it's not going to.
Insiders with direct ties to Diddy have come forward, stating that both Usher and Justin were victims of his grooming. Many within the industry were aware of Diddy's conduct, yet no one intervened. Instead, they actively sought to keep his dark secrets buried. Allegedly, things got so bad that Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital. Gene Deal has even stated that those close to Diddy knew about an incident where a child was rushed to the hospital, suffering from injuries that are too disturbing to describe.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing some programs. They may speak on it themselves. but I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard it, and that's what happened.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of allegations.
Mm-hmm. Same way they made allegations about Usher. When Usher was younger.
I mean, do you think that there's any credibility to these allegations?
When there's smoke, there's fire. Why would Diddy be tapping this kid in his chest to see if he wired? And asking him, are you wired? Why would he be confronting that kid? Why would Justin Bieber make a song about, what is it? I got smashed at a Diddy party or something like that? Why? There's reasons behind all this. So, where there's smoke, there's fire, Cam. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, Justin, he's been real quiet about this. I mean, I think like a lot of the other celebrities.
I was reading some, Cam, and the kid say, after he went to Diddy camp, he started using drugs so heavy and was smashed every day. What would cause a kid who wanted to be an artist in the music business all of a sudden to start getting high and drinking and drugging, popping pills and smoking? What would cause a kid to do that?
I mean, usually trauma.
Or a Diddy party.
But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp.
After reviewing the evidence against Diddy, his attorneys are resigning. One of the top lawyers in New York, Anthony Rico, has submitted a motion to resign from his position as Diddy's attorney. Anthony wrote that he could no longer support Diddy because they had become irreconcilable.
He's doing fine. It's a difficult circumstance. He's making the best of the situation.
A situation one of Diddy's attorneys won't be part of moving forward. Anthony Rico announcing in court docs, under no circumstances can he continue defending the embattled rapper.
You know, Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. So sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get.
That's Rico speaking up late last year for his now former client. ET's learned the attorney's exit will not affect Diddy's other attorneys, nor their defense strategy.
I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective.
You're going to hear about my party. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me.
This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
In a motion filed on Thursday, Rico stopped short of revealing why he's stepping down from Diddy's legal team, just months ahead of the music mogul's scheduled trial date in May for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, all of which Diddy's denied. After Diddy was arrested, Rico said he provided a high level of legal representation, but now, for reasons unknown, he can under no circumstances effectively serve in the upcoming trial.
Nobody's okay with staying in jail for now.
And high-profile death penalty attorney Anthony Rico. Now, while the pair joined around the same time, Anthony in a court filing on Friday said he's leaving the case. In the filing, Anthony Rico said, quote, "For the reasons set forth below, this motion for withdrawals is filed so that Sean Combs may move forward with his defense and to commence jury selection and trial without any delay. As a result of discussion with lead counsel Mark Agnifilo, this motion for withdrawal of counsel is filed. While I am aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted, there are sufficient reasons related to protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case. Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs," end quote. Now, essentially in legalese, I quit, but I can't go into details because of attorney-client privilege. According to the filing, though, the defense shakeup won't delay the case. Diddy will continue with 5 attorneys. That's Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Garagos, Alexandra Shapiro, Jason A. Driscoll, and Anna Esteval. Now, a judge still has to sign off on the motion, but with the government taking no position on it and the fact Anthony Rico spoke with Mark Agnifilo about it before filing the motion, a judge will likely sign off on it.
Diddy's longtime law firm, one that has represented him for over 2 decades, has now cut ties with him. This raises a big question. What exactly do the feds have on Diddy that's so serious, even top-tier lawyers are walking away? Could it be connected to the evidence he's been desperately trying to keep under wraps?
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
Diddy's attorneys have requested the dismissal of certain of the allegations. According to Diddy's defense team, Diddy's success as a black man is the only reason he is facing charges. They contend that Diddy should have the accusations against him dropped because they are racially motivated. Given that nearly every color is represented among Diddy's victims, this is probably not going to work.
Diddy's defense seems to be gearing up toward his alleged criminal conduct wasn't criminal. It was his personal business of what was going on in his bedrooms or hotels or wherever the freak-offs occurred. So they're saying that count 3 wasn't transportation to engage in prostitution. prostitution, but was just him using escorts, male escorts at that, to bring in as a third with his girlfriends. Whereas the government's theory of the case is Diddy used force, fraud, and coercion to make his alleged victims have sex against their will in his freak-offs that he recorded for his own pleasure. Now, Diddy pleaded not guilty to all his charges, hence why the case is going to trial.
Sean Combs asked the judge in his federal case to throw out one of the charges. He says he's being targeted because he's a black man and the charge is rooted in racism. I look at Combs' argument and his chances of success. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Sean Diddy Combs wants one of the counts in his federal superseding indictment thrown out. Combs argues he's basically being singled out by federal prosecutors because of his race and his success in business.
Hollywood has always been a place where secrets lurk in the shadows, but now the truth is finally coming to light. The real question is, will Diddy finally face the consequences of these shocking allegations? Or will he manage to slip through the cracks of the justice system once again? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Usher's testimony could be the key to bringing Diddy down? And what's your take on Justin's silence? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on this unfolding case. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.